So hey guys, I continue to really enjoy this show. I was excited by this week's episode because I feel like I know what's going on, like I know what direction it's going in. It definitely seems to me that Mr. Mercedes is gearing up to do something similar like what he did when he killed the people waiting in line for the job fair. So I wasn't really sure where the show was going to go and like how they were going to surprise us, since they told us like off the bat who the killer was. And that's crazy. I'm just wondering if he's going to be able to pull it off. He made me very nervous in this episode regarding the dog of the, I can never think of the kid's name. Is it Jarrell? Maybe in the show, the guy that is always helping the detective. Him getting ready to poison the dog was making me very nervous. I can't stand animal cruelty in general and on TV. And I'm so thankful that the kids showed up and that stopped him from doing it. But I gotta say, the incest with the mom stuff is just, there's a couple of shows I'm watching now that have an incest theme and I'm just so over it. So I'm really like, I really get sick every time that comes up at all. I think it's kind of funny how the detective talked to him basically over like a FaceTime function, and how he totally called it, that he knew he was having sex with his mom. That's probably the only person he's had sex with. And it's just a really messed up situation. Like, it's hard for me to feel sorry for him, but he did grow up in a terrible, terrible environment with a crazy mom who's abusive to him, who has been for years. And I don't really quite understand why he still lives there, because I know he has 2 jobs. I don't know if he can't afford another place, or if she guilts him into staying there, or if she is living off of his incomes. I really don't know. I know he doesn't make a ton of money. I thought it was also interesting that the manager was kind of offering him to possibly be the manager of this new store, but I kind of, or his store that he works at, but I kind of feel like he will screw up the interview with corporate, because he's kind of in a really bad space now after the detective called him out about being, you know, having sex with his mom and everything, and he was just very angry by that, and he didn't want anything to do with his mom at that point. And, you know, it's interesting to me, like, I always try to be so nice to people, like, in general, but when you're out in, as a customer standpoint, like in fast food or a restaurant or at a store, you know, the woman was pretty much a jerk to him. Not saying she deserved to have her car stolen, but I think that propelled his actions, and you just never know like what's going to trigger someone. Like, we saw him meeting the woman who was a customer of his store who drove the Mercedes, and she was really rude, like, oh, you know, you don't deserve a tip, that's in your pay and whatever. And it just kind of reminds me, like, I'm always very cautious when I go to any type of restaurant, because I've heard so many horror stories. Like, I don't want, even if my food is like messed up, a lot of times I'll just say, can you just take it off the bill and I'll just eat later, because I don't want my food to be like spit on or whatever happens when you send your food back. And I just think, you know, people who are crazy are going to do crazy stuff even if you're nice to them, but, you know, you just never know, you push the wrong buttons with somebody. So it just reminded me like how she was such a jerk to him, and I was like, you know, it might not have been any different if she'd been like super nice and gave him a huge tip, but I think he wanted to kind of get back at her anyway after she said that. So I definitely think he's in the market for probably looking for another car or something to go do something similar. I definitely was getting those vibes when he was meeting with the manager and he was doing like the arms up thing, like, because the manager was thinking he was meaning like he's ready for a change in his life, and I think he's ready for the next phase of whatever craziness. Like, I think he wants to top his previous like kill rate, or what, a kill ratio or whatever. Like, I think he wants to do something bigger than what he did before. That's just my opinion. But I think the show is really good with really talented actors and actresses, and I'm excited to see like how all of it wraps up. But let me know what you think. Do you think he's gearing up for something big like this again? Do you think the detective will catch him, or how will this all wrap up? Disclaimer, if you've read the book, please do not tell me anything about it. I'm not interested in the book, whether or not this show ends up being like the book or not. I do not want to know what happened in the book. I just have to throw that out there, because sometimes people think that I do want to know, but I don't. But thank you for everyone who's been following along with me for this show, and I really am loving it, so except for the incest part, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Hope you guys are having a great day. Bye. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Kelly TV. I would love for you to subscribe and be a part of the Kelly TV family. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter so you can keep up with all I'm doing.